Pat, thank you so much for having us here. We really appreciate you taking your time out and meeting with us.
Thank you. Glad to do it.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about, you're the president of the Georgia Economic Developers Association in addition to your position here in Macon, but why don't you tell us a little bit about what that association does?
Sure. GEDA is a 700 membership organization primarily of economic developers and those that are involved in the industry. Our mission statement has three main focuses. One is for professional development, provide professional development opportunities for our members. Another is to provide networking opportunities for our members. And the third is to kind of work in the public policy arena to push ideas that benefit economic development.
Mm-hmm. What other professions are benefiting from membership in GEDA?
Well, in addition to, our largest membership group would be our local economic developers, our practitioners. Mm-hmm. That person that runs a Chamber of Commerce or a development authority or an industrial authority that is involved in recruitment and retention of businesses and industry in their communities. Mm-hmm. Another big group that we have members are our statewide developers. Those are our project managers from the Georgia Department of Economic Development, Georgia Power, Georgia EMC, and the Electric Cities of Georgia, the new location Georgia. And then a lot of construction companies and contractors, engineers, architects, folks that are involved in, let's say a community locates a company, and then you've got the folks that need to build that building and do the infrastructure work. A lot of those companies are also involved in GEDA, again, to network and get to know the communities and the statewide developers. Mm-hmm.
You've been involved in local economic development here in Georgia for going on 20 years or so?
Since 1991.
Okay, and since that time, how have you seen the necessity for local economic development organizations, or the consciousness of those, how have you seen that change with regard to international operations?
Well, certainly in the last, in the last 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 years, the emphasis on international has been a lot stronger than it's been in prior to that. I mean, just the way the economy is working right now, a lot of goods are produced overseas. Mm-hmm. A lot of international companies are now shipping product into our markets, into the United States. Mm-hmm. So the level of activity from Europe and Asia and other parts, from Canada, from South America, has certainly gone up. I mean, in my experience, I've certainly seen it increase in the last few years.
What would you say is the level of sophistication that the local economic developers in Georgia have with regard to being able to attract those kinds of projects?
Well, an international project has a lot of different nuances than a United States project, for example. Financing may be a different game, a different area with them. Certainly the ability to assimilate the folks that move here with the company into the communities, just to understand what are the critical factors for an international company. It may be a little bit different than those with a United States company. So, I mean, there's a whole gamut of things that require a different level of understanding in working international projects.
What is GEDA, or GEDA, what is GEDA doing to help those your members in general to prepare for that?
Well, one of our big focuses is professional development. So we've had 2 of our last 3 annual conferences have had a global theme. We've had the Consul Generals from that are based in Atlanta. We've had them come and speak to us, hold workshops for us to talk about opportunities in their communities, not only for inward investment, but also for trade and investment into their countries. We've had the Georgia Department of Economic Development international trade reps. The department will have them here in the United States probably once a year, and we try to host events then so that our communities can network with them so that that our international trade reps have a better understanding of the communities here in Georgia to help them sell our communities.
It's interesting, we're talking about mostly about inbound investment. How have local communities had to get more creative in their ability to maybe finance projects or provide incentives for international companies during the economic downturn?
Well, not only international projects, but all projects have become much more creative lately. You know, with the economy, companies always wanted communities to partner with them, and now that partnership level has expanded until companies are looking for communities that might even be able to help with financing a project. Financing not only a building and equipment, but maybe even as far as financing working capital or some other things. So, and with international projects, yes, that has been a factor also. But again, I don't think you can limit that to just international projects.